Hey guys, it's Amber and welcome to my December daily, day 14. So I have a bit of a mess going on here on my desk, but I'm going to be doing a multi-page spread. This is for pictures regarding a holiday party that my boyfriend and I went to. So I'm going to be working on the back of day 13, which was really simple. So I have a few 3x4 photos. I'm trying to fit in a title card. I want to use this awesome gold foil card from Paisley Press Kit with Allie. I have to fit in my number. I need to fit in a journaling card. I have a couple different 3x4 photos of like the tablescape, the tree, the food. I also have this cute strip of photos that I want to use, which is I want to put on a 3x8 card. This is also from the Paisley Press Kit. And I am thinking about using this new divided page protector that has two 3x8s with the divider going down the middle. So I printed a photo of myself so you can like see my full dress. So I'm thinking about trying to incorporate those together with more of the 3x4s, because obviously two 3x4s make up a 3x8. I have some items pulled out for embellishing and some cards, and then I'm going to end on a full-size 6x8 photo here that I have printed out. So I'm going to start working on the process. I'll pop you on fast forward and show you how things are going. I have some other cards I'm considering using here to bring in some color or to play up the blues that I'm wearing. So we'll see how it ends up. Okay guys, so this is going to be a little bit of a longer process video. I decided to leave in a little bit more footage for you guys to see kind of some of my decision making and product choosing process. I usually try to trim down my videos so they're not like exceptionally long, but I know sometimes it's fun to watch people kind of play around. So what I started with was a few things that I knew kind of for sure where they were going. So I had slipped in some of those 3x8s into the pockets, and then my next step is going to be working on the 3x4 cards on the back of day 13. So I'm just trimming this 6x8 pattern paper that was from, I believe, the Paisley Press Kit this year. It's just a deep red with like a really tiny white polka dot on it. And I really liked this Eat, Drink, and Be Merry rubber piece. It was from the Advent calendar this year. And that holiday festivities card. So I knew where that was going, or so I thought. You're going to see me change my mind a lot. It does end up staying back in that spot. Spoiler alert. But what I'm doing is the cards are all trimmed down to like 2 3/4 by 3 3/4, so that there's a 1/4 inch border around the outside. And I'm just using the weight from the other side as my border. Some of the photos I've been printing with the border, some I've printed and trimmed. Just depending on how many I'm trying to fit on to a page or like a print that I'm working on. So just changing my mind. So here's where everything starts to go like a little funny. Like I was sure that I wanted to put that there. I was trying to stick more with the red and green colors of the rest of the album because, as you can see, the photos are very bright blue and gold. And I played up on the gold a little bit, but I didn't want to... I'm so sorry, hang on. I didn't want to try to force the blue because I didn't have the right color products. It's definitely not color that's found in much Christmas product. So here I am just cutting with my large trimmer a 3x8, and you can see I'm using my ruler to measure the pocket to see exactly what the dimension sizes are before trimming it, just as a base for my two 3x4s that are going to be going on there. So just trimming that, getting it out of the way. There's just some like random cardstock that I keep around. And I'm just placing a photo of our food and like the tablescape because I thought it was really pretty. And my original plan was to put the 14 in between those two, but it was a lot of white. And then I found this green die cut from the die cut add-ons that says the most wonderful time of the year. And it's green, which helped pull in green, and a little bit of gold, which was awesome. But also it's like one of my favorite events that we go to is his work party because it's just always a really fun time and we get to see all our friends. So it was kind of crowding the flowers and there was a lot more white space in the food photo. So I end up, I believe, flipping the order of the pictures, which just makes sense to me just a little bit more visually. So I'm letting them rest there with some like white space, putting my little die cut back on, doing a little bit of thinking. Changing my mind. I do a lot of that in the next few minutes here. Just trying to figure out what looks balanced, what doesn't look balanced, how much of those flowers I want to cover up, because they're already cropped pretty tightly. I was trying not to like take pictures of the people on the other side of the flowers or like things like phones and stuff that were sitting on the table. So I had to be creative in my composition. So then there I'm thinking about moving the 14. There I'm using or considering an older Jasmine Jones card that plays up the blue, but it actually still looked good with the green tree on it. And the December Memories just did not fit with the Holiday Festivities card. At a Christmas Gathering, Remembering the Moment, those are all cards from this year's kit. Then I considered doing my journaling on there, so it would be lots of red and green, and I actually really liked it, but I really wanted to use that Holiday Festivities card. So, let's see here. So I considered briefly moving the red to the top so that it would be further away from the red photo strip on the right hand side, but then the middle seemed like too much white and gold. And I didn't really have a third red thing to mix it up. Then I really liked this photo. It was a close-up of my nails that had been done for the event on top of the sequins of my dress, but it was just too dark. But my original plan it was always to put the number on it, and it just didn't fit with the other photos once it was printed, even though I really liked it. So I scrapped that. And here I'm tearing off the chipboard layers from my number 14. Which is like finally something that I could actually do besides just moving things around and being indecisive. So I got out these white and gold little tiny plastic trees that were one of the add-ons. I can't remember which kit it was with now, but I really thought that they would look cute, but ended up eventually not using them. I felt like I was trying to force too much white and gold. And it was also a pretty busy background to the card. So I finally decided to start gluing some things down, which sometimes can be the hardest part. So I'm just using my Gina K tape runner, balancing it out for space so the borders look nice and even. And then I'm going to use some Gina K foam dots to attach that die cut. So I wanted it to have a little dimension. I'm just trimming off some like loose edges there. And I like the height of the Gina K foam squares, but I really have a hard time getting the adhesive backer off. So I need to look into finding another adhesive square that's not very high. I have American Craft Pop Dots and they look wonderful, but they're too much dimension, especially with this album. I'm trying to keep it as flat as possible. So if you have any recommendations, please let me know in the comments. So I just put 3 in the middle there. Get that squished in there. And I attach this photo of myself, and then I end up realizing later that it's a mistake. It's not in the position that I wanted it. Luckily, with the Gina K repositional adhesive, it just kind of pops right off. But for now, I trimmed it a little bit so that the borders look nice and even. And just lining it up and getting that glued down. And slipping it into the pocket. I really enjoyed playing with these 3x8s, and I enjoyed the challenge of not feeling limited to all 3x8 cards and photos. Like using the 2 3x4s on both sides really helped make the decision a little easier, and it was a little more freeing. So I didn't feel like I was stuck with a specific size. So I'm just getting my photo strip glued down. And then it's a glossy photo, so I was just using another card to help push it down without actually like touching the photo. And then I'm just attaching the 14 with some photo squares cut down. And then I'm ready to start working on the back. And then here, I believe, is where I realized that my photo was on the wrong side of the, like, left and right side of the, yeah. So there, because it was two photos too close together. So I peel that off. And then I'm lining up my full photo of the tree by itself, which I thought looked really pretty at this, like, golf club. But I realized that it couldn't be on the top because then it was like tree, 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 all three in a row. So this way, by moving it to the bottom, it kind of created like a visual triangle. So while I'm considering that, I bounced back up to the front. And I considered moving the card with the tree to the front side of the page, not the back, so it wasn't, like I said, all trees. And I actually really liked that red card in the back, but I didn't end up using it there. I needed it in the front to help balance out the red photo strip. And I'm also mad at myself there because I had intended to put that little green chipboard heart under the Wonderful Traditions, Here's the Story, and then start my journaling. And I never stuck it down, so I started doing my journaling without it. I was kind of bummed, but I ended up using it somewhere else in the album. I just thought it looked really cute inside that little space there. So here I took a older Ali Edwards 2x2 die cut that says This Moment with gold foil. It was square. I punched it out with my 2-inch circle punch. And I had intended to, like, use a variety of chipboard circles. I really struggled with how to embellish this photo because we're pretty centered. There's kind of a lot going on in the background. And everything's like a champagne kind of color. So I was trying not to go too bold, but needed to be within my color scheme. So I struggled with it and I just stepped away from it for a little while I was thinking. So here I was considering the other card again. And then I made the decision, you know what? This red and white polka dot is getting used. I'm going to stop hemming and hawing around. And then I'm going to use red line tape to attach the rubber tree to the outside of the page protector. So I knew it would be really thick. You could put it inside, but then it makes the pocket kind of like bulge weird. So I just put the card inside and then attached it to the outside. And it feels pretty secure that way. All right, so just getting that stuck down. And then I attached the darker green chipboard heart to that bottom right of the holiday festivities card. I was just trying to pull some green for like 3 green things, like the green heart, the green rubber tree, and the green die cut, just to have a visual triangle. And then I realized that one more set of cards and photos needed to be connected together with some adhesive. I had never gotten to it earlier in the footage. And I'm still trying to decide exactly what I'm going to be using for this other 3x8, but I pretty much made up my mind. And I believe I'm going to start adhering everything down here. Yep. So finally just decided to go for it instead of making it harder than it needed to be. Sometimes I can be really indecisive because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. I'm simple design, but I like things to look balanced, and I just keep moving things around. And when I'm doing that, it's because I know something's wrong. So I ended up finding this Holiday Joy tag in like the die cut tag set, and I cut off the top where the tag portion was, and then I used one of my hexagon templates and I trimmed the bottom into a hexagon, and then I used one of the cork hexagons. I believe it says Holiday Spirit, and then I ended up layering that little tiny lighter green chipboard heart on top of it, and that worked really well because the whole back page has a lot of the darker and lighter greens. So I just used my paper piercer there to help me apply that in a straight space. And I really wanted one more hexagon maybe in the bottom left, but I just couldn't find anything that would work. That right above my hands there's like a green December die cut that I considered using, but I just tried not to force design, just because I thought it needed something else. I just let it be. It felt like the other two pieces were just enough to help fill some space. So after all that indecision, I decided to take a certificate that he won. Like, they get an actual award, but just for the sake of the presentation at the banquet and the dinner party, they hand out little certificates. So I decided to include it in the album this year. I didn't do it last year. I'll have to see if I can find it. But I was looking for this green holly paper, which is from the Merry Days collection, but this one's actually listed as their gift wrap. So it's a really large piece, and someone had sent it to me. So I decided to use that to like wrap around the folded certificate. So I'm using some of the Gina K Terrific tape, which is a very thin double-sided sticky tape. And I applied it to all four sides of both sides of the thing before I applied anything down. And then I could just peel them off one side at a time. And what I did is I folded it and straightened it and kind of folded it a few times and creased it before I actually attached it down so that it would not be too tight and rip or too loose. I'm pretty happy with how it came out. I could have cut the papers, but then I was worried that the edges would just get a little bit ripped up in handling when the pages are being turned. So having this longer paper worked out really well. Then I just trim off the edges, and I added a little pink photo tab. That 'Tis the Season is a Jasmine Jones product from Studio Calico, and there's a chipboard piece from one of the chipboard sets from Ally. So I just wanted to say thank you for sticking with me through this longer process video. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you're interested, and I hope you're enjoying your December daily and watching mine. Thanks again.